Welcome back to Common Ground, an inside look at Suffolk County. I'm your host, Sheriff Steve Tompkins. Now, on this side of the program, we've got Judie VanKooiman. She is the producer of a program that she does in Winthrop called Life Issues, and I had the pleasure of being on her program some weeks ago, and she tells a fantastic story about life struggles, but equally as important, how you overcome those struggles and move forward to do whatever it is that master plan is for you in life. So without any further ado, Judie, thank you so much for coming on today.
Oh, my pleasure, Sheriff.
Really appreciate it. So talk to us about Life Issues. What's the objective of the program?
It's a resource information show. It's question and answer, back and forth, anything to do with life. Actually, your show was my 3rd anniversary of doing Life Issues, so
okay,
that was an honor.
Congratulations, that was cool.
Yeah, and I've done a variety of different topics, from drug abuse to homelessness to domestic abuse. I mean, I wouldn't even be able to remember all of them because there's been so many. Right. But I love to network. I'm a network queen, I call myself, and I just find different resources out there that I say, oh, that'd be a good topic for a show and everything. And my show that I'm going to be taping next week for February is on AARP.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cool. So now, why did you begin the program?
Well, it's 7 years this coming September. I lost my husband to cancer. Within a month's time, it hit him, and we lost him. So at the time, I said, okay, I'm not going to sit around doing nothing. He wouldn't want me doing nothing. He would be kicking my you-know-what. So I said, I'm going to live each day to the fullest. And also, I have another motto, there's a reason for everything. So I went through some bumps after losing him. We had owned a 2-family home, and my tenant, shortly after Van died, moved out. She went into elderly housing, and I didn't have enough, we had mortgage payments, and prior to that, I had lost my job at a law firm here in Boston of 18 years. Wow. So that's when things just started going roller coaster time. Right. And so I said, there's not enough resources out there for people that might not realize what is available to them. And so I said, I need to let my audience know about these things. And because especially after losing the home, I sold it and just couldn't keep up with the rent. I ended up homeless for 9 months. Wow. And so that is another passion of mine, working with the homelessness. Right. And so I went through all that. And
so you've gone through some real life experiences, that will either just flatten someone or they have to find a way to combat that and come back. Where did you find the inner strength to overcome some of those difficulties and just turn your life around to where you're at now? How did that happen?
I think just having very special angel, my husband up there watching over me, saying, everything's going to be okay, and just keep on trucking. Say.
But I'd like you to be a little more specific, because there may be someone who's actually watching the program that may be going through some of what you went through, and they may have an angel, they may not. Let's say, just for conversational purposes, they don't. Talk to them about some of the steps, some of the resources that are out there that they could utilize to then redirect their destiny, so to speak.
Yeah. I didn't use this resource, but there are different resources for grieving, either through your church, or there's other ones. There's one in the state called, well, it's out of state also, but it's called Comfort Zone. There's Hospice of the North Shore. They just changed their name, though. I can't think of what it is at the moment. But there's different grieving organizations that people can go through. Family and friends are great support. Lean on them, which I have a great support group.
Have a good network, of support. And so that helped you turn the situation around. Now, had you been doing your program prior to the loss? So everything, the program in and of itself began after. Talk to me about the therapeutic value of doing the program for you.
I've had so many people tell me that, oh, thank you for doing this show. I didn't know about that topic or those things that I could get through that resource, or So it's wonderful to, hear positive feedback from it, and my guests, love to be on the show, and
But what does it do for you?
Helping others. I love to help others.
Okay.
So that's
because it's a great public service that you're doing, and I can understand how it's helping others. But one of the things from doing this program for me is that, well, there's a couple of things, but one, I'm inquisitive by nature. So as I'm talking to folks, I'm also learning. As much as our audience is learning, I get to be that conduit, to bring this information to folks. And so they learn something that they may not have known. I learn about something that I didn't know. And oftentimes, and this probably has happened to you, in subsequent conversations, something will come up and you say, I was just talking to somebody about that. I just had somebody on my program. Or in a conversation I may be having, I'll think, I want to get that person or that issue in front of my audience so that they can learn from that. And I think that that's a great thing coming out of college. Some of us are programmed to go into the private sector and just make as much money as you can. And I never thought about the public side of the equation and giving back, And so I find that there's great value in being able to give back and to help other people. I'm assuming that's the same thing for you?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I love giving back. I'm probably an overload of right now of the things I do, but it's so important and stuff to help.
Talk to me. I see that in some of the notes that they've given me that you're a strong believer in volunteering.
Yes.
And volunteering your time.
Yes.
Talk to me about some of your hobbies and about volunteering and what that means to folks and what that means to you. Yeah. So what's some of the hobbies that you're interested in?
I've told people that volunteering is my hobby because I do so much of it and stuff, but working with the elderly too is very important. I'm on the COA board at the Winthrop, at the Robert A. DeLeo Winthrop Senior Center. Friends of the Council on Aging there also. I do home health care, so it's all kind of comes together and stuff because, like I said, I love working with the elderly. Some of the other volunteers, Community Against Substance Abuse in Winthrop I belong to. We just started an organization called Neighbor to Neighbor in Winthrop. It's for any family that has gone through a natural disaster, like gas explosions or fires or anything like that. We raise funds or do, or give them resources what they can, where they can go to. Another one, I serve at my brother's table in Lynn, which is so rewarding, and they're so appreciative.
Is that a homeless shelter? What is
it's
that?
The soup kitchen in Lynn.
Okay.
But I also belong to an organization called North Shore Voices to End Homelessness. We have a couple of events coming up, one next month and the other in March, just to spread the word because homelessness is so, it's rising. People think, it's going away, things are better out there for economy-wise and stuff, but it's not. It's getting worse. Really.
Are there a lot of kids? Do you find that there are a lot of kids and a lot of families caught up in homelessness?
Yes, there is a lot of kids that don't have families that are kicked out for one reason or another, and they don't have any place to go.
And they're living on the street?
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, there's a lot unaccompanied youth out there.
Now, on the other side of the equation, I see that you're also a part of the Winthrop Chamber of Commerce, which is all about business.
Yes.
Talk to me about that.
Well, I've had a couple of self-employed businesses that's how I became a member of the chamber. A couple of them were direct sale companies, but I don't do that anymore. But one is kind of a little side business I call Judie of all trades.
I love that. That's cute.
It's instead of jack of all trades.
Right.
So it is doing, from house sitting to pet sitting and taking on private clients through, home health care, doing small office jobs, anything like that. So that's how I became, a member of that. And last year I was the chamber member of the year also. So.
You're a hard worker. You're an inspiration. It sounds to me that you're one of those beacons of light that people can really look at as an example of someone who really cares, but puts her energy and time where just a lot of people may just put words. It sounds like that you get a lot of value out of that. Did you come up in a family that was very civically active when you were a kid?
No, no, not at all. This all happened after I moved out here because I lived in Montana prior to moving
Oh, no
here.
kidding. Okay.
Yeah, so but I've been in Massachusetts for over 25 years.
Okay.
I love it and everything.
Yeah.
So it all happened after I lost my husband. So
Do you still have family in Montana?
yeah, my immediate family's still there.
Do you go back occasionally, every now and again?
It's been a while, but
Okay,
you know,
okay.
airline fees and all that.
Yeah, pretty expensive. Now tell us about Winthrop, because you know, to tell you the God's honest truth, until I came to work at the Sheriff's Department 12 years ago, I'd never heard of Winthrop. Winthrop, and to go to Winthrop, it's this jewel. I mean, it's a spectacular, it's a fantastic community, small, but fantastic. But as a resident of Winthrop, tell folks about Winthrop and tell them about all that you have. You got a fantastic beach there. You've got some great shops there. Talk to us about Winthrop.
I love Winthrop. Everybody knows everybody type thing, you know. So it's great. You know, they're helpful and caring. There's only 2 ways in and out of Winthrop. So if you're not coming to Winthrop, you don't come. But we have some great restaurants. We have a great one called La Siesta if you like Mexican food. We have Hong Kong Dragon if you like Chinese food. We have the Winthrop Arms. That's what I call Winthrop's nicest restaurant because it's a great food. The owners have done a lot of renovations in the restaurant too, and they have a little hotel of rooms that they rent out upstairs. So their food is not, you know, it's in abundance there. Like you mentioned, we have great beaches and yacht clubs and
Does the Chamber of Commerce out there put on, like I know some municipalities or some communities will have their Chamber of Commerce will put on like a fair day or an event day or something to that effect where they showcase all of the business. Do you guys do anything like that?
We have had something similar and everything, but we do a big event on the beach in the summertime called Old Fashioned Day at the Beach for the families, and games and food. And if you have a business, you can come and set up a table on the beach and promote it. And
Old Fashioned Day?
Yeah.
So why is it called Old Fashioned? I'm just curious. I mean, does everybody dress like in period outfits or?
No, not at all. Just, you know, it's just having families come together and just hang out for the day, and it's fun. You know, there's all kinds of good food.
You know, the interesting thing about Old Fashioned is that when I was a kid, community was a lot stronger in a lot of places than it is now. Now, it sounds like in Winthrop it's very strong, but you're a smaller community. When you look at a place like maybe a Chelsea or Revere or Boston that's a little bit bigger, and let me give you this just as an illustration. So where I grew up in New York City, I grew up in a housing development in a project, and it was 19 floors, 10 units per floor, 190 units. And over the course of the time that I lived there as a youth growing up, before I left to go to college, you knew just about everybody in there. Where I live now, I probably know the folks in the homes right to the left and the right of me, a couple in front of me, but three blocks down, I don't know that well. From your standpoint, from the stuff that you've done, particularly around life issues, what's the significance, what's the strength of a strong community?
Just being there for each other, helping. And I think that's what it comes down to, because if a disaster happens, just like we started that neighbor to neighbor, you know, we just care about, you know, each other.
Right,
you know?
right. That's what I find also is that, you know, community is, particularly when you talk about from a public safety standpoint, you know, when you were a kid, you may have heard those stories about, you know, you do something as a kid, and your neighbor would see you, and you get like, you know, a little tongue lashing from your neighbor. Then she'd tell your mom or your dad when they got home, and they would also explain to you how you should not have gotten yourself in trouble. And we at the Sheriff's Department long for that type of interactivity where folks are really looking out for each other and caring for each other. But, you know, I find that society is moving so fast these days that so oftentimes it's hard to keep up. So when you talk about an old-fashioned day in Winthrop, has time slowed down there, or are they moving as fast in Winthrop as they are everywhere else?
I think we're trying to go towards that way. You know, we still have, you know, some things to do, some improvements and everything, but we're getting there.
Do you do anything with the politics there? I mean, is it run by, do you have a mayor? Do you have a town manager?
We have town manager.
Okay.
I think you've had him on your show, Mr. McKenna.
Right.
And we have a town council president. He just got reelected for a second term, Peter Gill. And
oh yes, yeah, I do know Peter. Yeah, I heard that was a pretty intense race too. You know, so yeah, good for him.
That was good stuff.
So do you do anything politically? Because I know you do everything civically. Have you gotten involved politically?
I've had a few people tell me you should run for office for this or run
kidding.
office for that, but I enjoy doing what I'm doing.
Not your calling?
No, I don't. Not right now. No. I'm on various boards and everything, but not political.
Come on over here and get into the rough and tumble with us. I mean, politics is interesting. It's almost like a sport here in New England because we have so many races and so much is going on, you know. But I also do find that people are very civically engaged here. They really do care about their communities, you know. And so when you go from neighborhood to neighborhood, it's rather fascinating, you know. So we've only got a few more moments left. I really want you to just talk about how, when you talk about neighbor to neighbor, from your viewpoint, just talk to us about the importance of watching out for your neighbor and being there for your neighbor. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, nothing's perfect. I mean, there's times that, you know, people won't get along or something, but, you know, just being there and helping, you know, in one way or another, giving back in one aspect or another is just very, you know, helpful to everybody. And if I can add also on another note, I started a nonprofit in memory of my husband too.
Talk to us about that.
It's called Those Who Can, for those in need. It's a resource volunteer fair. The categories that we cover are elderly, losing a loved one, children, low income, and homeless issues. Okay. And the volunteer part comes in where a lot of these organizations are looking for volunteers because of budget cuts, et cetera. And so we have it at a big park in Winthrop called Ingleside Park, and it's for the Boston and North Shore area organizations. And it's a big family type event. We have entertainment for the kids, we have food, and just different resources and volunteer aspects. And right now we're planning our first, hopefully annual fundraiser. It's going to be April 26th, the last Saturday of April, I think it's either the 25th or 26th. And it's going to be a buffet dinner and comedy show. It's going to be at Casa Lucia in Revere. Nice. And we're going to have raffles and 50-50 and a DJ while you're eating your dinner and everything. So it's just going to be a...
If folks want more information about that, how can they get more information about that event?
They can either call or email me. My phone number is 617-462-5719. And my email is jkvank100@comcast.net.
Hey, listen, Judy, thanks so much for coming on and talking to us about these issues that are really important to you and your neighbors and society at large. You know, and hopefully folks that have heard your words will say, you know what, I can do that. You know, that's really important, and I can do that, and I can reach out, and I can give back, and I can help out. So thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
Really do appreciate it. All right, folks, that's it. We're out of time. We're out of here. That was a great show today. We'll be back again next week, and so until then, you take care of yourself. Bye-bye now.